hello again.
Hello.
We have not changed outfits because
we
it's
haven't.
the same day.
No, next time I will wear glasses to show that time has passed. But also, thank you guys so much for being here. On this episode of the Roundtable, we're just going to pick one topic and kind of go back and forth in that discussion of that topic and what that means. And today's topic, I think, is rather interesting.
It is.
Barbie has recently gone through a lot of different iterations and changes with how it should be recognized in the screenplay category, with the Guild, the WGA, saying it should be considered original, but with the Academy and the Oscars saying it should be adapted.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to bring that discussion to the roundtable and kind of go into our own thoughts about it, about what it should be considered as, even go beyond that more philosophically as to why it's different, what it should all mean. Kind of give ourselves little existential crises before we leave, because we're in our late 20s and we need that, I think.
Sometimes that's all you really need.
Yes, I agree. So, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yes.
Barbie.
Should
it be adapted or should it be original?
Adapted.
Okay. Why?
Because I believe that the rules and eligibility for adapted screenplay are adapted from previously established material.
Okay.
Which is what Barbie as a concept is.
Okay.
The movie opens when it does the title card based on Barbie by Mattel.
Yeah.
I think that answers the question personally.
Okay.
Go ahead.
For me,
yes.
I also believe it's adapted.
Yes.
And I think my biggest thing with it is not just it being based on a toy, being based on pre-existing material. And there's examples of this in the past, like Logan says based on the Marvel comics, it was adapted screenplay, things like that. Also, the fact that there were preconceived notions of relationships between characters, to me, is adapted. Like the fact that we start the movie and we know Barbie and Ken are boyfriend-girlfriend. That dynamic. Or even, technically they weren't in the movie, but you know what I mean? Like, that dynamic of Barbie and Ken is based on pre-existing material on the back of a box. But it was written, it was published, it's adapted from that. Mm-hmm. I understand the argument as to why it should be considered original, but what I kind of wanted to more dive into, which is, we'll talk about, who gives a fuck? That's kind of like my whole thing about this. It's like, do you think Noah Baumbach and fucking Greta Gerwig care about what Oscar they're about to get nominated for? I don't think they give a shit. I don't think they give a shit at all. Mm-hmm. It's a great screenplay. And it brings me back to Judd Apatow recently made comments. Judd Apatow, by the way, a director that I love and admire and has brought me much joy. It's not good English, but you know what I mean, over the years. He kind of made a statement saying that, it's insulting that Barbie is put in the adapted screenplay category. He used the word insulting. Why? Adapting a screenplay...
How dare you insult me by nominating me for an Oscar?
Yeah, adapting a screenplay is an entirely separate art form than making an original screenplay. That's why the category exists, is because that recognition eventually happened. Who cares if it's going to be, I wanted this to be original screenplay, I guess I'll accept my nomination for the adapted. Who gives a fuck? Mm-hmm. It's a great screenplay. Maybe it doesn't get nominated for anything. That could 100% happen, right? But whether it would be adapted or original, I don't think that Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach care. Yes, it's a very original take, but it's original take on pre-existing material.
Yeah, I don't think it serves to undercut the work that they put in creating something so unique that a Barbie movie is in the running for a Best Picture nomination.
Yes.
Think about that sentence for just 1 minute.
Yeah, and with the Academy, you made a good point. The Academy saying it's adapted is not an insult on the movie. Mm-hmm. And if you think it's an insult on the movie, then you have a very strange notion about how these things work. And about, you think if someone brings you a book, Eric Roth, who wrote Killers of the Flower Moon, look at Eric Roth's IMDb. Look at all the amazing shit he's written. A lot of it based on pre-existing material. He's one of the best screenwriters to ever live. You think someone gives Eric Roth a book and says, can you adapt this into a screenplay? And he goes, no, then it wouldn't be original. No! He's like, I'm going to write a fucking kick-ass screenplay and make a great movie.
Well, here's my thing, too. I went through the Academy website and looked at the nominees and winners for Best Adapted Screenplay. I went back 10 years, so we're looking at 50. And here's basically the point I'm trying to make with this whole thing is I understand the confusion about what to do with Barbie, because as you'll see, there's never really been a situation this specific, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. So I looked at 50 nominations, 2023 to 2013.
Yes.
Guess how many are based on books, novels, memoirs?
How many?
Of 50. 31.
Okay.
The others There's a couple short stories. There's a couple adaptations from films like Star is Born.
Yep.
There are a couple plays. And then there's some that are interesting to me. And this is where I think Barbie fits in for me personally.
Is this the glass onion of it all?
It's the glass onion of it all.
Ah, yes, I remember this.
Different ones. It's characters from or based on. So if you look at Glass Onion, a Knives Out story, it is a sequel to Knives Out. Fundamentally different from the first Knives Out. Mm-hmm. The only character is Benoit Blanc. Barbie is a character.
Yeah.
From however many Barbie movies you want to pull from.
True.
The animated, the character is existing. It's a character. It'd be the same thing if a video game got nominated.
Yeah. Or a Mickey Mouse movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it is adapted from something. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the point. I just thought it was interesting. 31 of 50 have been.
Yeah.
There hasn't been something that's based off a toy.
It's an incredibly rare occurrence.
Exactly.
Yeah. And to your point,
yeah,
Oppenheimer is going to go in the adapted category. Mm-hmm. Adapted. And you might be thinking, but that's based on a true story. How's that adapted? Because it's based on a book about the true story.
Yeah, it's going to say the memoir.
It's based on American Prometheus.
Yeah.
That's why it's adapted. But you have other movies like, I think Bohemian Rhapsody, I don't believe was based on any book. But yeah, I don't think that Bohemian Rhapsody was nominated for original screenplay, but if it wasn't based on any pre-existing material and it was just about the general story of Queen, like that's original. There are also screenplays that are based on articles and newspapers. Mm-hmm. And guess what? They're adapted screenplays. And where I kind of wanted to take the conversation of the whole thing is like what you brought up. Barbie being adapted is not an insult on Barbie.
No.
It's just stating the type of screenplay that it is. Barbie is a fucking great movie. It made $1 billion.
And wholly original. I was not expecting them to take that movie.
Yes, it is a very original take on previously existing material. Yeah. And, the fact that people are kind of poo-pooing that idea, I think is insulting to people who adapt screenplays. People like Eric Roth and Killers of the Flower Moon. People like so many other screenwriters who do this for a living. And if anyone wants to know how hard it is to adapt something, watch the movie Adaptation, which was made by Charlie Kaufman, one of the best screenwriters that ever lived, where he writes himself in a movie. This whole movie exists because he was hired to adapt a screenplay. And he found it so hard that instead of adapting the screenplay, he wrote a screenplay about how hard it was to adapt a screenplay. That's a true story. And he put himself, Nicolas Cage plays Charlie Kaufman in the movie, and he gives himself a fictional brother so he can bounce ideas off of each other. Nicolas Cage plays both. He was nominated for an Oscar. It's a great movie. But, that is how difficult adapting screenplays is. It got its own screenplay.
Can I go ahead and just say something controversial here?
Say something controversial.
I think we're actually going to disagree wildly on.
What are you about to say to me?
I think they should get rid of the category.
Why the fuck do you think that?
Because I think that if Best Picture can have 10 nominations, why can't it just be screenplay? I think that if you look at, let's say, original screenplay nominees 6 through 10 that are not nominated, I bet that adapted screenplays 1 through 5 are probably equally as good, if not better, than 6 through 10. And you don't have a best adapted movie category.
Right.
Killers of the Flower Moon is being nominated for Best Picture, not Best Original Picture, not Best Adapted Picture, which is essentially what it is. It's an adaptation of a book. So why are we differentiating there?
Fair. To me, I read it as it's like, why not combine Best Actor and Actress and just Best Performance?
I think they should do that.
Oh my God. I don't think so. I think actors and actresses bring different things to a movie. It requires a different thing that they're bringing. And I think that by subjugating it into one, you're just allowing prejudice to happen. You're just allowing them to nominate 10 guys. To me, that's what it is. And the same thing for screenplays. And I think that...
But I don't think they would. Because then if you put Past Lives up against Barbie, I feel like those are two very solid screenplays.
Yes.
And I don't think that they're going to favor necessarily Past Lives because it's original over Barbie adapted.
But it goes back to what I was saying earlier in that it's entirely separate art forms. There was a lot of pushback to creating a Best Animated Feature Academy Award, which I've gone back and forth on because, yes, I do think part of it is they just wanted to, not include animation in Best Picture. But basically what it became ultimately was, hey, this is an art form that is going categorically unrecognized. And the fact that we have to fight to get in, I think the first movie nominated for Best Picture was Beauty and the Beast, I think. And they had to fight and fight and fight and get in. And then finally, I think it was the year Shrek came out, they made a Best Animated Feature category.
Shrek was too powerful.
It was. But that's why that category exists, is because they wanted to recognize that there's a separate art form that is not being looked at. And so they made a Best Animated Feature. Do I think some of them made it just so they didn't have to nominate for Best Picture? I do. I do think that. But at the end of the day, animated features get to be recognized at the Academy Awards now. And I think the adapted screenplay is the same thing. A lot of people don't realize how entirely almost separate of an art form it is than writing an original screenplay. Kept getting overlooked, and then finally it became, look, there's an entire art form here that's not being recognized, and that is adapting pre-existing material, and how difficult it is, and taking things that only existed in one medium and bringing it into the medium of film. It is very hard. It is not the same thing. And I think that separating the categories gives opportunity to shine on those movies. So why don't you have Best Adapted Movie, Best Final Movie, whatever? I think it's because ultimately all the puzzle pieces that come together to make a movie are the same, except for its screenplays. That's where it's different. The crew is not an adapted crew. It's not an adapted director. You're not adapting an actor. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
But just at its bare bones level and how it starts is what makes it different, which to me is why the category should remain the same.
I will concede on the actor one. I think... I don't
think either of us are wrong. I
don't think they should combine the actor-actors category.
Yeah.
That was more of me being facetious.
I know when you're being facetious. Yes.
But I think that if your screenplay is a good screenplay, an Oscar-worthy screenplay, that it shouldn't matter if it's adapted or not, because you could take something such as Barbie, let's say, and it be something completely... Killers of the Flower Moon is probably very close to the book. Barbie's not close to Barbie, but it's still adapted from it. But why not just combine the categories and just have it, like I said, 10 pictures, 10 screenplays.
Look, I get the idea of it.
Yeah.
Works, but I think not being able to separate them, all you're allowing is a couple of other screenplays to get in there that don't deserve to be in there, to me.
I don't think that they would favor one way or the other, though. I think it would be relatively split, maybe 6-4. Like, I doubt it would be anything more than 6-4.
Well, one, I don't know, and two, it's just unrecognizing the fact that adapted screenplay is a different art form. Like, to me, there are still awards that need to happen at the Oscars because there's art forms that aren't being recognized. Like, to me, casting directors, I think, should have its own Academy Award. That shit is crazy hard, and there are people who crush it every single time. I think stunt coordination or choreography, and I know that the reason why they haven't made the stunt one yet is they don't know who to give the Oscar to. Do we give it to the coordinator? Do we give it to the second unit director? Do we give it to the performer? All of them. Fuck it. But, to me, make a best choreography. So it could be dance. It could be fighting. It could be whatever.
Yeah. That's
a good award because that's an entirely separate art form that has to happen within a movie. There are still things that need to be recognized that aren't. And I think something that they did a long time ago was creating this category because it allows an entire separate art form of adapting screenplays to be recognized. Like Glass Onion does not get a Best Screenplay nomination if that category does not exist, I think.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Disagree.
If there's something better, there's something better. I don't think it's one way or the other.
Yeah, but it's something better that's not the same thing. Like it would be kind of like, if they can, I'm going to go back to the actor one, the comparison you made. If they said, all right, it's just best performance, Leo gets in, RDJ or Robert De Niro gets in, yeah, Gladstone gets in, but then a bunch of side people get in that probably shouldn't have got in without those stiffer rules for competition, and it's like.
But you named two supporting. I was saying combined supporting.
Okay, sure.
So supporting separate, which I don't agree with.
Yeah.
The joke I was supporting as one, actor lead as another.
Sure, but I think it does the same thing, where it just allows a ton of it allows you to keep people out instead of confining it to make the competition more, make it harder to get in. Because that's one of the things that makes the Oscars so great is how hard they are. And one of the reasons why Best Picture they kind of pushed back against going to 10 nominees was to make it harder.
Yeah.
But then what they realized is there are so many fucking movies that come out every year, and some of them don't get recognized. It's exceedingly rare that a movie gets nominated for Best Picture that wasn't nominated for either director, screenplay, actor, actress, supporting actor, supporting actress. Mm-hmm. The last one that did it in my memory, I could be wrong about this, was Black Panther. Mm-hmm. But then that film got nominated for quite literally every other below-the-line category except visual effects. Mm-hmm. And it won most of them. So, but it's the Academy also recognizing, like, it takes all of this to make a Best Picture also. Yeah. So, like, that's why the 10 work for Best Picture for me. But, you know, the adapted screenplay, I don't know. To me, it's such a separate thing that it needs to be recognized separately.
Let me ask you this, hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be in favor of them keeping it separated or combining it, which frees up a new category for one of the ones you mentioned?
Oh, so if we get Best Stunts, but you have to combine the screenplay categories?
Yes. Or casting or whatever.
Yeah.
But screenplays get combined into one.
I don't know.
Which would you prefer?
I like them being separated.
Yeah? You'd take that still?
I do. Because when they combine Best Sound, because remember they used to do sound editing, sound mixing.
Yeah.
Which are different.
Best noise.
But when they did Best Sound.
Yeah.
They at least kept the decision to give the award to the mixers and the editors. So everyone was still getting the award. And the reason they did it was because they just found that practically every single year, the same movies were being nominated for both. So, like, okay, I understand that a little bit, but they are separate things. If you ask me, is sound editing different than sound mixing? It is. It's very different. But at least they're recognizing everyone. So, yeah.
Interesting.
That's how I feel about it, personally.
Right. I see the argument for keeping them separate. I don't want to come across like I'm diminishing the work and art form that is adapting the screenplay. I just think that if the screenplay is good, the screenplay is good. The same way, if the movie's good, the movie's good.
Yeah.
You know? But
Barbie totally adapted.
But Barbie definitely adapted.
I think so.
I think Barbie should be adapted 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's my question for you. And this kind of goes back. This is unrelated to the adapted original, but you said, like, you know, animation was a big hurdle to get recognition.
Yeah.
What do you think the next big hurdle that we need to get over is?
To me, it's stunts.
Stunts?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's not even stunts specifically because the hold up on stunts is how come there should be a stunts category when not every movie has stunts? Mm-hmm. My argument is, well, not every movie is animated. Not every movie is international. Not every movie has an adapted screenplay. Mm-hmm. Not every movie has an original screenplay. Not every movie has visual effects.
Well,
yet we recognize these things. So, like, to me, that's why stunts should be nominated. And the conversations happened.
Yeah.
But the thing they're struggling with is they don't know who to give the award to. Mm-hmm. Who do you nominate? Do you nominate the second unit director, who most likely directed all of those stunts? Do you nominate the coordinator, or the choreographer? Do you nominate the performers? Like, who do you nominate?
The coordinator.
I think so, too. But at the same time, you're leaving people out on that. You know what I mean? And then, to me, you could get specific and say best stunt coordination, and then it has to go to the coordinator, right?
Yeah. But then our second unit director is going to be. But if you open it up to say, if it goes to the second unit director for that, then second unit director should just be a category.
I think so too.
Across the board.
I think so.
But then how do you know how do you showcase what the second unit
director did
to coordinate that?
Exactly.
Whereas I could watch a stunt and be like, oh, yes, Martin Scorsese did not direct this.
Yeah. Because, like, some second units are doing huge sequences. Like, the director of Extraction 2, Sam Hardgrave, he did, like, second unit on, like, Captain America 2 and 3. Like, he was directing and choreographing those action sequences.
Yeah.
But then there are some second units that just do inserts of, like, someone's hand flushing a toilet. Like, the big-time director's like, you can go do that. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, I'm getting paid, let's fucking do this. And then they do all the inserts. And, you know, so that's...
Flush again.
Yeah. One more time.
One more time. Do 2 fingers instead of 1.
Yeah.
I get that. Let me rephrase the question because that feels like an introduction of a new category.
Yeah, but casting director, I think, is another one.
Let's say for just recognition at the Oscars across, like, Melissa McCarthy being nominated for Bridesmaids was a big win for comedy being recognized.
Yes.
Same thing with if Ryan Gosling gets in for Ken.
Yeah.
You know, that comedy and, like, horror go on the big hurdle was Jordan Peele's Get Out getting nominated for
winning
original screenplay.
Yeah.
You know, that was a huge win for horror recognition.
Yes.
Do you think that those two still need a lot more recognition, or do you think there's something else that has been overlooked that should be in? Because I have one.
I don't think you should go into genre.
Okay.
Because genre is what kind of blurs the line there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm okay with a best stunts, because dances are stunts, really.
Yeah.
So, like, you could do best stunts, and people are like, oh, that's only action movies. No, it's not. Mm-hmm. Like, so I think animated is the furthest you should go for genre-wise, because animated is not really a genre. It's just the type of story you're telling.
It's an art form. Yeah, it's a medium.
Yeah, exactly. But what were you thinking?
I think motion capture performances
100%
are huge.
Best vocal performance too, voice actors.
Yeah, voice actors.
100%, I think so too.
But yes, voice actors. But my only hesitation with that would be, okay, let's look at our nominees. Oh,
it's Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt as Mario. Here's Jack Black as Bowser.
Yeah.
You know, like, does that... But I think that if you look at Andy Serkis's work in
Planet of the Apes. Oh, yeah.
I would argue that's as good of a lead actor performance as some of the lead actors that have been nominated recently. And
the only thing that's preventing that from happening is there's no way to prove how much of the facial muscles were tweaked.
Yeah.
That's the only thing ruining that. Because I do think motion capture performance is an insanely crazy good art form, especially when done right. But that's the only thing. I think voice actor, not saying I don't want to see motion capture, but I think voice actor is more likely just because it's their voice. You know, and unless they sign something saying they can digitally alter their voice because of the new SAG deal, it's their voice.
Yeah.
And yes, you run into the problem of having a bunch of movie stars be nominated, but at the same time, you create an Oscar for Best Voice Actor. Guess who's wanting to, all these voice actors are now like, who already have to fight, by the way. Voice actors are shit on. Mm-hmm. And they're some of those talented people you'll ever see. You make an Oscar category, they're fucking gunning for it. And you're going to get some of the best. I mean, you already get best vocal performances from voice actors, but I think it would start to happen more.
But then it kind of goes into also then what are I feel like that opens up way too many parameters, because if you look at international films, you know, and let's look at something like The Boy and the Heron that came out this year.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's gushing over Robert Pattinson's performance as the Heron.
Yeah.
That's in the dubbed version.
Yeah.
What about the subbed actor?
Correct.
How does that, how do you then determine that level of things?
Yeah. I mean, hell, make a best dubbed category. Best voice dubbing.
The show's already 3 hours long.
Oh, yeah. No, but like
24-hour Oscars.
But correct. No, I'm not against splitting the Oscars into 2 nights.
Yeah.
I would love that. On Saturday, you can do your... I'm not calling it this. People like the lower awards. Mm-hmm. And then Sunday, you can do all the fun ones. Mm-hmm. I personally think that's... I'm not against that.
Yeah. I'd be interested how the viewership would be on that, though.
It wouldn't be good.
No.
But like you also don't have to go all out spending money on the Saturday show.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It would be interesting.
Yes. But Barbie adapted.
Barbie adapted.
This is how all of our discussions go. It starts and then it just fucking spirals.
Yep.
But yeah, but no, I thought it was fun regardless.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But give us all of your thoughts on the Oscars, how the categories work. Are they too specific? Are they not specific enough? And in relation to Barbie, should it be original or should it be adapted? Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching the new episode. And on the next week, I think you will be in the new studio.
Yeah.
Probably. We'll see.
Maybe.
But yes, great to see you guys. Put that down. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you on the next one.